I am Anirudh. I'm the Security Privacy Initiative Lead for Microsoft here, based out of Bangalore. I also handle product marketing for Microsoft security technologies like Forefront. There. Okay, yeah. So Microsoft being the #1 computing platform around, we have a fair share of vulnerabilities being discovered, and over the last 10-12 years, Microsoft has had a community of researchers who work for us directly. There is a community of researchers that work independently, and also there's a huge group internally that does does its own research to find vulnerabilities in our own products, vulnerabilities in the design of a product, which may not even be in an end product the way we actually go about. So in a typical scenario, if somebody discovers a security vulnerability, which is and he's not a Microsoft person, he can go to the Microsoft Security Response Center. You can search that on the internet, you'll get their homepage, and you can write an email to secure@microsoft.com and submit the details of the vulnerability that you found. But as a precondition, we say that do check your submission against a certain list of common things which are misconstrued as security vulnerabilities, which we call the 10 immutable laws of security, and also to get a proper definition of security. So there is a definition of security vulnerability which a person needs to validate against, and as well as these 10 immutable laws of security, and we feels that even then the security his vulnerability that he's discovered stands valid, then he should submit it, because otherwise we get a lot of submissions from world over, so it becomes difficult to validate through. But we have a portal face, we have an email ID, and people can reach us anytime, and they get a short response from us. Okay, so Microsoft about 10 years back put up an institute called the Trustworthy Computing Initiative internally in Microsoft. Now, as part of Trustworthy Computing, there is a group called the Security Group, the Security Science Group, the Security Engineering Group. So once MSRC, or the Microsoft Security Research Response Center, receives these vulnerabilities, they analyze, they triage the vulnerability, and they submit it to the appropriate product group or the product team. Or if it's an online services vulnerability, then it submits it to the appropriate team there. And then each team, as part of the product development plan, have a response plan. So whenever we make a product, simple like an office product, once it's through and final, there is a response plan which is put in place, where there is a team which is put together, there is a process which is put together, which says that if there is a vulnerability found and reported to us, how will we react, how fast, who will take what responsibilities, and how will we determine whether this is a super critical, like a 0-day kind of a scenario, or is this something which requires a major design change and therefore has to be scheduled for a later date. So basically it goes from the MSRC team to the various response teams of the products and services which is associated with. They work out, based on the criticality, the nature of the threat, they work out how they're going to work on a patch. They build a patch, and they go about releasing it. The endeavor is always to actually release it as soon as possible. But of course there are many other elements which come into play when we are actually working on a security vulnerability. So it goes with whether it's super critical or whether it's not so super critical, depends how we go about addressing it. Because on a given day we'll have a number of vulnerabilities on our hands. Okay, yeah. So conventionally, if you even look at terrorists, why do they plant a bomb in a moving train? Why not under a tree? It's the impact, it's the reach that you can get. And the thing is that over the last 10-15 years, there's been a huge change in the way hacks and attacks have actually happened. Earlier there were so many script reviews for fun and profit. They will just hack and break into and have some funny things appear on your system. Today that's not the case. Today the case is that, do I own your system or not? And if I own your system, do you know that I own your system or not? I don't want you to know that I'm already owning your system. And can I sell this system for $10 a day? And like this, 100,000 systems, or thousands of systems like this for certain malpractices, certain DDoS attack on somebody, or spam bot kind of an activity. So that establishes the basis for how monetary motivated hack activism is actually evolving today, where people are looking at a platform. Now, I'm going to spend 3 months making an exploit. I want to make some money off it. So therefore I will target a platform where I can get max benefit of my effort. So that is true, and that's why traditionally the Microsoft platform has been a target, and even now it continues to be. But at the same time, now you're seeing certain parallel operating systems which are appearing on other devices and places, and you're seeing the same trend repeat, where you're seeing the differentiation is not because of an OS and things. It's the differentiation is how huge a reach you have. So you have 300 million devices which people are carrying with them on their in their hands, and that's becoming a target for people. So yes, number one point, popularity makes a very important criteria for a hacker to choose what he's going to do on. The second part of the thing that you don't see many attacks and on other platforms is till about 5 years back, almost 93-94% of the platform was on a Microsoft thing. So for a 6% or 7%, that too which is distributed among various, maybe some 50 different distribution of OSs, do I need to actually spend my time on that there? So people didn't do that. But then the other thing was that few isolated users were using this. So isolated users again brings down your propagation, malware propagation, or your whatever exploit that you have created. That propagation doesn't happen that easily. So, but that thing is changing today. But that was true that it didn't have the security was assumed that that a platform is much more secure because nobody made an attempt. The reason why nobody made an attempt is that there was no benefit in actually doing that. So. But that's changed over the years. In fact, in the last 1 year, if you see how much activity has happened on the other platforms, it's pretty surprising. Right from, I don't want to take names, but yeah, there have been certain 80 to 90 million IDs and credit card information was stolen off a particular commercial portal, and that was completely running on a different platform. And increasingly, what's happening is people are also looking at people say, oh, this is secure, I will use this for my most critical application. So the hacker will think that way. I know the general thinking, psyche of an IT function in a company is that for the general purpose they'll use a general purpose OS like a Windows, but for certain critical things they'll be using this, where their database is running, where their critical information is actually sitting. So that's the point. That's where they'll try to break in, and it's not difficult to actually break into anything, and especially when you have the entire source code line by line available to you to look and find vulnerabilities. So that thing is changing. It was a reality many years back, but today the thing is completely changing, and you're seeing a lot of vulnerabilities coming out on almost every platform there. In fact, the biggest change that's happening over the last 2-3 years is JavaScript. If you have a Java-based exploit, it doesn't care about whether you're on Microsoft platform or not. It works everywhere. It can steal from anywhere. So the thing is that it just takes away the platform piece. The platform comes out from your equation. Okay. So number one thing, that any software which is written, and which you probably will also appreciate as you're a software developer yourself, that there is no way to guarantee that there's not going to be a vulnerability in it. Maybe there's something that never came out. So like when buffer overflows came out, people thought, okay, we'll take care of these. Then the heap overflows, then stack overflows, and just kept going, evolving into new things there. People thought they can read the spam and do an analysis and block it. Till the PDF-based spams and picture-based spams coming in, you can't read it anymore. So the hackers will always be a step ahead of you, and their mode of getting to you will always evolve, and usually how it's been, they're always a step ahead there. So like that, in a software, there will always be a vulnerability, no matter which platform, which language where you've created and who's created it, there will always be a vulnerability there. So therefore, every software over a period will require updates to be put in. These updates that I'm referring to are security updates, which will mitigate a certain security weaknesses there. Now, for you to be safe, you need to be running the most current version of the software, which has incorporated all the security changes that are required through the patches and stuff. So that it's a no-brainer. It's a super. It's like how you left your house and you came here. You had to lock it, right? Do you ever leave your house open? No, you don't. So that's how it is. It's like Mother Nature, I would say. If you're using software, you have to be patching it regularly. Any platform, anywhere that you're working on, you have to be patching it regularly and keeping it updated. Second thing, so patches can be of security fixes as well as product enhancements and things. So generally you see this, and this is not something that can be given out as a trend that 10 patches come out, 5 are this and 5 are. It's not like it. Totally depends on, let's say, so many vulnerabilities were reported, and therefore in December now so many vulnerabilities are being patched. Next month none are reported, or over a period none are reported, therefore you see a certain decrease. So this is pretty dynamic. You can't really actually put a finger on how many there will be. But on a Microsoft platform, mostly when you have service packs are what we release in a defined time. Once a product has actually been in the market for some time, we incorporate all functional related bug fixes. Also, it might have certain additional capabilities, like in the XP days we had the XP, SP1, SP2, SP3, which brought in additional capabilities also in along with adding certain security patches. So these are tested software updates which we release. So this is something that people must 100% deploy, and this is sometimes you can't even say that yes, that's the thumb rule. Sometimes they have product enhancements also. Okay, so a typical day for me at office, I handle 2 roles in Microsoft. One of them is the Security and Privacy Initiative Lead, where I work with various audiences, like the developer audience and the IT pro audience, as well as the government and the government elite, and help towards changing the perception that the people have on Microsoft and security, and bringing to light the efforts that Microsoft is actually putting in improving the security of our products, as well as the environment in which these products operate through perspective guidance, through tools and technologies that we're making available free. The other role that I have is product marketing manager for security, where I'm responsible for the revenue and growth for a security line of products called the Forefront line of products at Microsoft. So now my typical day is a mix, where there's I could be working on any of these areas, or could be working on just one. If I am like in this case, this interview is more related to my SPI kind of a role. There are in the SPI piece is a pretty, or what we said, the Security Privacy Initiative piece is pretty planned in a organized manner, where we have events and things which are already known, and I participate in these events. I do the CSO forum, the Data Security Council of India, those kind of events, as well as our own tech ed, Microsoft own tech ed events. So various events I use as a platform to spread the knowledge, and we do webcasts which are online series, and we also have virtual tech days. So various events I use, and there's one event which is coming up next week. So that next week I'm going to be totally in this mode. I'll be doing less of the other role there. But most of it is evangelism and spreading the knowledge and getting that across. Also involves where let's say a customer has a serious perception issue, where he feels that he's not going to invest in Microsoft technology because of a security related opinion that he holds, and that's where I'm engaged to have a conversation with the customer and understand his concerns, and see if in the ways that we have, the technology that we have, if I can, and the knowledge that we have, if we can address his concerns and help him believe, change his perception that yes, he can be as secure as anyone can be on any other platform, on a Microsoft platform, and help the sales team actually lead to a sale of that solution there. So that's also kind of my role. On the product revenue based things, I'm responsible for what product is doing well, not doing well, what's the kind of revenue that we're getting in, and whether the partner ecosystem is actually actively participating in generating a lot of revenue. If there are any conflicts and issues on the field, which can happen pretty often. So they get escalated, bubbled up to me, so they need to be resolved and help resolve so that the sale can happen, so that the deployment can happen. So I get engaged in those kind of activities too. I'm also the I would say the liaison to the product engineering team in Redmond, in terms of I collate my feedback from the field here in the India subsidiary, and I put this back to the product group in Redmond based on what we're experiencing, and then they integrate that into the product planning process, so that the future versions or the next updates to the products can have whatever issues that are raised can be addressed and looked into. So that way, so that's basically how my day generally goes between the two. So right. So Microsoft is we have a huge IT infrastructure, and we have a very large IT team also that's working in. And within this IT team, there is the information risk management team, which actually works. So I would say, and there are businesses which are, you know, the Office business, the Microsoft business, the developer business, the research business. Everything is huge. So some of them run their own piece, but they all agree within, or they're all within the Microsoft laws and policies that we have. But primarily, if I am to just tell you how it works, is number one thing that we do is in Microsoft is classification of data. What's medium risk, what's low risk, what's high impact for us, and based on that, we have certain policies and standards that need to be followed. So a high business risk has to be protected in a particular way, a certain amount of encryption, or the way it's handled, where it is presented, all that information is related. Similarly, low business risk. And low business risk might just be public, or it could be internal. You know, it totally depends on businesses to business, because there are so many businesses, you can't really have one single definition to it. So that's one. Second thing is that we use mostly our internal technologies to do this. So as a user like me, on my laptop there is critical information, and this laptop mandates that this the hard disk, the volume itself, is BitLocker encrypted. Now BitLocker is a full volume based encryption which completely locks down. Even at boot process it's locked down. So even if I lose my laptop, all I've lost is just a monetary value of the laptop, no information. So that's a mandatory policy everybody has to follow. If I don't have that, I can't even do remote access or anything. It's a check to get this done. The other thing is that for removable devices also, we have something called BitLocker to Go. So BitLocker to Go is a technology by which USB based devices, media devices can be, storage media devices can also be encrypted, and you can have password protected encryption built into it. So we have that capability also to be done in it. The other thing is for data in motion that we exchange all the time, like an email address. Microsoft's inbuilt technology, which we also sell to consumers, which is about like 50-55% of the world is actually using that technology. It's called rights management services, AD rights management. So when I create an email, I am the owner or I'm the author of that email. I know what is the content in it, I know who it should go to, I know who should not read it, I know whether they can see this information after a couple of hours, days, weeks, that is information expiry, or whether they can print it, can they forward it. All this information is with me. So the Outlook tool itself gives me the interface to actually create a rights management document where I have done the encryption as well as marry the policies around with it. These policies actually have the specific attributes put in, whether the receiving party can print it, forward it, do a print screen, save it, whatever. All those things I can do right here. So this is a very popular mode of information exchange internally, because most of about 80% of information flowing around is on the emails, right? So that's how we block it down. So most critical things are done. This also integrates with our SharePoint, which is our collaboration infrastructure, where we put documents, download documents. So depending on critical projects, so let's say a project team is working on and they're using a SharePoint library to manage the documentation code and things like that. They have very specific rules and policies for their scenario. If it's a project team site like me, we're running a sales campaign or marketing campaign, and we just want it to be logged on to the group, so I can define my policies and things there on that SharePoint thing. So the same rights management capabilities can be extended to SharePoint as well as to file servers. Anything kept in a particular folder can be default applied rights management template. So we have these number of technologies which are internally available, which we use, and we are free to use as a business manager of for the security business. I can use it on all the different collaboration sites that I am using, as well as emails that I'm creating, and primarily a lot of trust is given on me and the author, and I know what kind of sensitive information is on this system, and therefore I will apply my best judgment and apply the right security technology on it. So that way that's the most critical part of our business, the data, which is actually secure. And then there's an organization called Global Foundation Services, which is a Microsoft organization which builds and or safeguards our data centers worldwide. So we have a number of data centers worldwide, and they're huge. They like run into hundreds of, put together run into hundreds of football fields there. So this Global Foundation Services team actually has a complete framework which is put together by taking down multiple standards, and so like there's a HIPAA compliant requirement, there's a ISO 27001 requirement, there's a COVID guidelines, there's various different guidelines. So what we've done is we've taken a mashup and created our own framework, and we use this framework which actually covers all these different regulatory and science requirements, and use this framework to actually put a security infrastructure around our infrastructure, basic data centers, as well as our regular servers and networking infrastructure that we have. And this helps us to be audited easily, as well as rather than doing 20 different things, we can do one thing which covers all these 20 things in a way. And that's how all our data centers are now, our cloud data centers, especially the Azure, and those are ISO 27001 certified, they're HIPAA compliant, and they have whole loads of compliance. All the compliances which are required for you as a customer to actually run your business here, whether you're from the health or you're from the financial organization, you can use our infrastructure. And we have all the right certifications in place. Yeah. Yeah, so Microsoft has a number of products which are commercially available as well as freely available. Products might just break down into certain tools and capabilities also that we make available. So primarily for consumers, which is a big piece of our computing base, we have a free antivirus solution which is called the Microsoft Security Essentials. It's a full-fledged antivirus which can be downloaded and installed on all genuine Windows PCs and gives them complete protection. It's free. It can be used by people and home offices, consumers and home offices with 10 or less PCs. It's available for them. There is a built-in firewall which comes with a pretty advanced firewall if you want to get into the technicalities. Otherwise, it just works like even my mother can use it. This comes built into the Windows OS. Every PC anyone buys that is available there. Then we also have things like, which is a growing concern today, kids get access to computing equipment very early in life, as compared to you and me when we got to first see a computer. To these guys, they're born with probably a slate in their hand, and and when you're not there, when you're not looking, how do you ensure they're not going to the wrong site? How do you ensure that some malicious users not actually connecting with them and misleading them, and some hanky-panky thing is happening? So how do you do all that thing? So for that we have something called the Family Safety software, which is again a free software. So as a father, I can I can monitor all my home PCs. I can actually set up which sites my child can go to, what time they can go to. I can have a complete log of what they've done, what applications can be installed, what can't be installed on the system. So this is called a Family Safety solution, which is again freely available and you can install. So these are certain things that we've done at consumer level. Another very, very important thing today at consumer level is also it comes to the business level later, but is the Internet Explorer, the browser. The browser is your #1 app which is running on your PC at any given point in time, and that's usually the way most of the threats actually come in there. So if your browser was able to actually tell you that, hey, this file that you're trying to download could be malicious, or it's trying to tell you that you're going to this site seems to have a cross-site scripting problem, and we need to check that out. Or there is an email that you've clicked, and in that browser, in whatever email where you are, and you clicked on a link, and that link, when it opens, gets resolved, that turns out to be a phishing link thing. So all these capabilities have now actually been built into the browser itself, so that certain functions that you do, which are common attack vectors by malicious users, those are blocked right then and there, and you are prompted with appropriate messages to be aware that, hey, this could be wrong there. And similarly, things like you're going to a site where the domain and things are not proper, so it highlights the domain name clearly to you so that you can get to know. Sometimes it's not easy to actually know where you're going. So these are technologies and things, solutions which we have, which are available for consumers who can do. All this is backed up by a security and safety center, which is an online portal. You can find Microsoft Security and Safety Center, which has a lot of consumer education and tips and tools and technologies which are available there for people to consume so that they can implement these technologies. On the business side, we have a dedicated line of technology, which is called the Forefront suite of products, which is the antivirus as desktop servers, application servers like Exchange, SharePoint, Link, to give you antivirus, anti-spam, as well as file filtering, keyword filtering. Those kind of technologies are available there. And we also have certain technologies which sit and work at your network edge level. The threat management gateway, which gives you a safe way to actually browse to the internet, does URL filtering, malware filtering, authentication, rule-based access, rule and time-based access to employees going to the internet. So this is a commercial offering available. And similarly, there's a solution called the Unified Access Gateway, which is a SSL VPN based solution, which does policy-based access from different devices into your corporate infrastructure. Been given some extension to. Now it's a 13-year-old OS. Our primary thing is that we can't continue supporting it, because now after that Windows Vista, Windows 7, and now the next version of Windows is going to come out. So, but people are still using it. The number one reason why we want you to actually move off Windows XP is that between Windows XP and now Windows 7, there's a huge change that's happened over the internet and the way things happen, especially from a security point of view. There's certain things that you can't really do anything on a Windows XP platform. We had to re-architect on the Vista and the Windows 7 platform for things to actually really become much more secure. So that's one. And the other thing is that the IE6 that people are using on that is again 2001 kind of a technology. The browsers, modern browsers today are like almost 10-12 years away. So people need to get out of this thing. So what this means from security point of view is that if people continue using XP beyond the date we support it, we are not going to be giving any more updates. So it's possible that if there is a vulnerability in XP, it might just go unpatched, and there will be no way to actually help you build protection on that system. So that's one of the biggest things. The other thing is that every business that's working, especially in India kind of scenario, where you cannot be using outdated software to do your business. You have to demonstrate, especially when you have contracts with European and American firms, you have to demonstrate that, yes, my infrastructure is well managed, is compliant, it's licensed, it's updated, like that. It's a very simple analogy that I use. School bus carries school children. If you will put your school children there, if you are relatively assured that the school bus is going to take them safely to school. The moment you see a dilapidated, broken down, brakes not working, a poorly managed bus, you might just want to pull your own car out and take the thing. Same thing goes with the IT infrastructure. The IT infrastructure needs to be updated constantly. It has to be the best if you want to bring in more business. It's if you want people to trust that infrastructure. So one of the mandates as part of ISO 27001 and many other security certifications and recommendations that are available over the internet is that you have to have current and updated software at any given point in time to conduct business. Yeah. So it's very important that people move from XP to Windows 7 at the earliest that they can. Nobody should actually wait any further on this. Yeah, like you said, there are about 1.2 billion devices which are actually running on Windows, which is huge worldwide. So a number of things. Let me just pick on some 5 basic that anybody and everybody should do that, whether you're a consumer or whether you're working at an organization. Number 1 is keep your software updated. Number 1, and that has to be done because that is the main way. So even if you have an antivirus and you don't have updated software, your antivirus solution will not be able to block the worm. The second thing is, yes, to have an updated antivirus too. Having an antivirus not updated is also not good. So conventionally what's happened is that people buy a laptop or a device, they get a free antivirus which may be for 3 months or 6 months, and after that you have to buy. Nobody buys. Nobody buys after that. And that's one of the reasons why MSC, Microsoft Security Essentials, is available free so that people can download and install it. So an updated antivirus is very, very important. Now, by default, the firewall is enabled on a Windows 7 PC. You should not switch it off unless you're installing your own firewall or something which you trust, which is also good. You could use that. But have your system updated, antivirus updated, have your firewall up and running, and the browser, which is probably your #1 app that you're using, should be the latest modern and updated browser. So like I mentioned, i9 has a host of security capabilities which are built in. It's fast, it's beautiful, at the same time it's very, very secure and safe for you to use. And there are certain tests and reports which are available, third-party reports which are available, which demonstrate how socially engineered malware and phishing kind of things are best protected using Internet Explorer. So these are certain technologies that they must absolutely use. But then there's another element which is coming out in the information security domain is what we call the person in front of the computer and between the chair. It's you. Social engineering doesn't work without you participating in it. It's not like a link came and auto-installed. It's you clicked on it and you were fooled to do something. So end user education, which is something that you're doing, is a critical important piece. You need to be aware where you're going, where's the link taking you, who you're accepting an email from, what messages are coming on your IM internet messenger, whatever that you're using. So all this you need to be extremely careful. And so that's all on the PC. If I am to just highlight some of the important things there. On your mobile device. Now your mobile device is slowly becoming your platform for e-commerce, because you're buying the tickets also, for movies. You're doing your mobile banking things on it. So you need to be extremely careful, especially if you're installing apps which are not kind of validated. So you need to be very, very careful where you're downloading what apps from. There are companies which are currently making available certain security solutions for mobile devices. If you're really heavy on the internet commerce and transactions, I would suggest you use that and read up on what's happening and what's actually happening on the mobile device, so that you can build in, so you're aware, so that you don't fall victim to these technologies. There are certain trusted platforms also in the mobile device. If you're on a high risk kind of a business, it's better you go to for a highly trusted and a closed environment, like the Windows Phone environment. Because every app is actually verified and then made available on the marketplace. People can't just install like that. So that's super important. And monitor your bills. People, what happens is that there are these in Russia and certain other places where you have new types of things, malware which is coming, which is increasing your SMSs, international SMSs from your phone. So suddenly you have to pay a lot of money. So just watch your things, set up controls. These are additional controls. Like in your bank, you can say, if beyond 5,000 rupees, give me an alert. If that is downloaded. Or for your service provider, your mobile service provider, you can have a thing that if the bill goes beyond 1,500 rupees or 2,000 rupees, stop my services. And they do that. They're pretty happy to do that, because later they'll have to run for the money which you won't have, and then it'll get disputed. So you do these kind of controls, additional controls, which can help limit things which are done, and go for increasingly go for more secure authentication technologies like the one-time password, things that you're using, especially when you are in cyber cafes. Many times I found myself using cyber cafes when I've lost all access to my laptop, my phone. So how do you book a railway ticket or an aeroplane ticket at that places? So you need to follow things. A simple thing that you can do is the Internet Explorer has a bank mode. If you press Control Shift and P, you get an in-private browsing mode in that, and that does not store any of your cookies, information, anything that you may have used. and by default, of course, Internet Explorer is very secure. Use that more. And second, when you're doing the financial transaction, use an OTP. Don't use your internet banking password there. Sign up. So banks like Citibank, I know in India, even ICICI Bank and many of the banks have ABN, Royal Bank of Scotland. All these banks that I bank with have an OTP option. You should use that always. Never disclose this information out to people publicly.
Thank you.